Hello guys, and welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to answer a question that I have been getting a lot over the past 6 months, which is why did I switch from ICT to DTFX? So as you all know, I was an ICT trader. I was posting educational videos about ICT, about my own strategy, my own backtesting trades that I took, right? Trying to explain them in simple terms. I was posting my analysis and then I switched to DTFX, right? And I left everything behind me. And since then, so this happened around 6 or 7 months ago, right? And since then, I was getting a lot of questions in my DMs in the comment section. Questions like, is DTFX better than ICT? Or comments like, I thought you were profitable with ICT. So why did you leave, right? Or even questions like, is ICT a scam, right? So people who didn't find profitability yet with ICT, people that were following me, they had a lot of confusion about the matter. So maybe they are learning something that doesn't work. They are wasting their time. So in this video, I'm going to answer all of these questions, right? Why I switched to DTFX. Is ICT a scam? Does the concepts actually work? So basically, I'm going to give you my personal opinion based on my experience using both systems, and hopefully you can make an informed decision whether to stay with ICT concepts or to switch to DTFX as well, right? So first of all, let me give you a brief introduction about my journey in trading. So as all people, I started trading. I'm not going to say retail patterns. No, we all trade retail, right? We are all retail traders. I was trading classic patterns, support and resistance, head and shoulders, right? I was also trading indicators like moving averages, the crossover, RSI, the usual, right? I didn't find success using those concepts, not because the concepts don't work, but because my process and my approach to studying them was wrong, right? I didn't follow a structured process to learn those, right? So basically, I memorized a pattern and I was trading any head and shoulder I see on the chart. So after 6 months of losing money, I stopped for about 8 months, and then I found out about ICT releasing a new mentorship, which is the 2022 model, right? So he already released that on YouTube. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna learn this the right way this time. I also watched some videos about ICT students. So this is like a pre-judgment phase, right? And I thought to myself, okay, this system looks good, so let's give it a try, right? So after about 6 months of studying the 2022 mentorship, the playlist, and then another 6 or 5 months trying to develop a model based on that, and I did, but I always thought that there is something missing, there's something better, a lot of moves I couldn't explain. So I watched and studied the Market Maker series, right? A Market Maker buy model and sell model, and then I was able to develop a logical model, a logical strategy that is based on the market maker models and the 2022 mentorship and also the time frame alignment, right? After a few months of backtesting and demo testing, I found profitability using that. So the first answer to your question, whether ICT works or not, ICT does work. But support and resistance also works. The moving average also works. Just because you are an ICT student, that doesn't mean that you are superior and all of the other styles of trading are garbage. All right, so please don't think that you have the unfair advantage just because you are trading a fair value gap. Believe me, you don't. I received a lot of messages on my Twitter account, people telling me that they are studying ICT for almost 2 years, some of them 3 years, with absolutely no profitability. And I got dozens and dozens of messages just like this. Just because you are trading ICT doesn't mean that you are distant to profitability. So after I found the profitability with the model that is based on the 2 mentorships, right, I was taking around 2 to 3 setups per week, right? And there were a lot of factors that must be aligned in order for me to take a setup, right? And every other strategy needs these factors. Factors like the weekly profile, the daily profile, the time of day. There is news drivers. There is checking DXY, checking, I don't know, the other indices, the midnight open. So there was a lot of factors that needs to align, a lot of stars to align in order for me to take the setup. And the conditions of price action must be perfect, right? High probability conditions. Otherwise, I can't trade that. So I always felt that there is something missing, that this is not it. If price really algorithmic, then we can explain each leg on the market. Each leg has a meaning, right? There is no high probability. There is no low probability. This is an algorithm, right? This is not something random. An algorithm does the same thing every single day. So there is absolutely no low probability conditions. So I was always looking for a system that explains these things for me, and I didn't find anything. So I stick to my own strategy, right? Until I found DTFX, right? So I found DTFX by the end of 2023 by a fellow trader, a fellow ICT trader who also made the switch from ICT to DTFX, right? And DTFX was getting a lot of heat during those months. People were calling him a fraud. People were calling him a marketer who is using ICT names. So those people are all basically ICT traders, cult members. I guarantee you that none of them has actually went through the materials, did their research, and formed that opinion based on that. So all the heat he was getting was simply because he said that you only need a market structure to succeed in these markets. You don't need time. You don't need anything else. All you need is market structure, right? Simple as that. And people didn't accept that. And I also didn't accept that at first, because I thought to myself, no, it doesn't work like that. It is not that simple. You need a lot of things. You need news drivers. You need to predict the low of the week, right? You need that. You need to check DXY, to check the other indices. Are they in sync with each other? So there's a lot of factors to be, and also there is time, right? The time aspect. So I didn't buy that at first, but when a fellow ICT trader, like I said, made the switch and he was giving his opinions, his honest opinions about the 2 systems and how he finds the DTFX system better than ICT in a lot of terms, like simplicity, right? And also the idea that you can trade on any time, I decided to give DTFX a chance, right? And also we were on the month of Jan, right? So the first month of the year, a lot of ICT traders doesn't trade that, including ICT himself, right? Because it is low probability. So I couldn't trade that. And my system didn't generate a lot of signals also, right? So I took a month off and I decided to give DTFX a chance, all right? I thought to myself, let me just study the first video, right? The first video, it was a bit something new for me, new to my beliefs on the market. It was talking about supply and demand, right? And there were no chart in there, so I found some difficulties watching the first video. And then I moved on to the second video, right? And the second video, it changed everything for me. I spent a whole week studying only the second video. I was watching 15 minutes of that video, and then I was moving on to the chart and trying to collect examples of the thing he talked about during those 10 minutes. So 10 minutes, then spending an hour or 2 on the chart, another 10 minutes, spending another 2 hours on the chart. And guys, it just clicked. From that second video alone, I knew that this is the system I was looking for. Everything made sense. I was seeing a setup every single 5 minutes. If I'm trading on the 1 minute time frame, right, I was seeing a setup every single 5 minutes, and it was right there in front of my eyes all this time. But the price action that I called previously choppy and low probability, it was just beautiful. It all made sense. It was logical. And also the beautiful thing about that is that I was only following market structure. I don't have to look at time. I don't have to look at other asset classes. I don't have to know which day are we in. I don't need that, right? Everything is about lows and highs. And from the excitement, I spent like 10 or 12 hours taking screenshots only. I remember that first day of watching the video number 2, I took like 100 screenshots from excitement, from the things he was talking about. There was just there on the chart. So basically, when I finished the playlist, right, I felt like I transitioned from driving, I don't know, a Prius to driving a Ferrari. Using my previous ICT strategy, I was getting, let's say on the 5 minutes, I was getting 3 good setups, solid setups per week. On the same time frame, using DTFX concepts, I was getting around 20 setup per day. Of course, it doesn't mean that I'm going to take 20 trade per day, but I knew that all I have to do is to develop a model that gives me 2 or 3 solid setups. I need to refine it. I need to find simple conditions, right? Since the setups are there on the chart, all I need is to find the ones that fits my personality, right? So that leads me to the first reason of why I switched from DTFX to ICT and why I think DTFX is better than ICT, which is the simplicity, yet the effectiveness. Although you are only monitoring price action on the chart, you are not looking at the calendar, you are not looking at anything else, only highs and lows, only zones, only candles and how to react. The system is giving you a lot of setups and it explains pretty much every single move. Of course, you're not going to understand every single move from watching 1 or 2 videos. We did months and months of backtesting and tape reading, right? But the system works perfectly. Just perfectly, and it is so simple with few moving parts. So now I don't have to be anxious about all of these, all these conditions that needs to be aligned. The perfect setup just in order for me to take a 2-hour trade, right? 3 trades per week, sometimes only 2 trades, and if you miss one, it's gone. You need to wait 2 days and all the conditions to be aligned. Using DTFX, you can come out with a solid trade idea with just few moving parts, with just a simple sweep, a simple zone, a simple higher time frame narrative, and that's it. And you can find consistent setups using the same logic. So the simplicity and the few moving parts made my progress faster. And the simplicity, guys, is something that is very important. A lot of ICT students are paying thousands of dollars to mentorships, right, to SMC mentorships, to fake marketers, just because they offer a simplistic approach to explaining ICT concepts. So people, fake gurus, are making tons of money because of this. In DTFX, it's all simple. You don't need another person, you don't need another mentorship to explain to you the things that are free in the YouTube playlist, right? You don't need that. It's all simple, right? Moving on to the second reason of why I left ICT for DTFX, which is the freedom it gives you. Now, I'm not bound by all of these conditions. I'm not bound of all this market profiles, daily, weekly profiles, time, especially time, right? So there is the macros every 10 minutes. There is the lunch hour. You can trade during the lunch hour. You can trade Monday. You can trade 3 NFP. the day before NFP, CPI, right? There is also the first month of the year. You can trade that, you can trade this. There is also seek and destroy. It wasn't for me. I always been skeptical about this, right? With DTFX, I can trade every time I want. And also I can trade on any time frame, right? So a lot of, so there is no choppy price action on the 1 minute. 1 minute is not noise. At some point, I was trading the 1 second time frame, and it was all there. Every single concept that Dave teaches, it was just in front of me. I stopped eventually trading the 1 second because I was missing my risk. I wasn't calculating my risk fast enough, right? But it was just beautiful, and there is no low probability conditions. You can trade seek and destroy, you can trade the ranging market, you can trade small consolidations, you can trade trending days, you can trade the end of the world. There is no choppy price action. Everything was so obvious and beautiful. Finally, the simplicity and the freedom that the system gives you, it leads to a better mental state during trading. You will find yourself trading stress-free because of the abundance of setups there is. You don't have to think about FOMO. There is a setup every 30 minutes. If you are trading maybe on the 5 minute, if you are trading on the 1 minute, you will find a lot of setups during the day. So there is no need to be afraid of missing that one perfect setup where everything was aligned. So that is really good for the psychology. There is also the simplicity of the model that helps you to focus on only few things, right? You are not jumping around from one asset to another, checking the DXY, checking the calendar, checking the time, right? So I'm not saying that those things are useless. No, if you're trading ICT, those things are important. If you are trading ICT concepts and you can find profitability with, but don't say that everything else is garbage and everything else doesn't work, right? So there's a lot of good systems out there that works better and also simpler. Again, stress-free trading, only few moving parts to worry about. If condition A, B, and C are present, I take this setup and I move on to the next one. And the win rate is also good, an excellent win rate. And you can really enhance the win rate and increase it faster because, again, you are only focusing on few moving parts, right? So you will find the best formula in a short period of time. In contrast, if you are looking at 10 parameters, then it will take a lot of time to find the right combination of conditions that will yield to you a decent win rate. So in summary, and to end this video, ICT is not enigma. It's not the holy grail of trading. If you became profitable with ICT, it is because your skill of reading price, and not because the concepts made you profitable. It is because you who made concepts work. And just because a system that worked for you and now you are profitable with it doesn't mean that there isn't a better system, a simpler system, more effective system. So always be open-minded, be ready to learn new things. And also I encourage you to give DTFX a chance. Study his free playlist. Watch the first video and the second video. And from the second video, if you understand it well, if you give it a proper studying, believe me that you will feel the need to continue watching all the way to the end. So I believe that this is the end of this video. It was a bit long, right? But if you found your answers in it, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. And now, happy trading and good luck.